Now you did it. Now you went and did it. Esther gonna be in this house. Oh. Esther's gonna be here. Elizabeth, I'm coming, honey.
Friday nights meant Redd Foxx talking trash from his junkyard in Watts and Lamont rolling his eyes at every crazy plan. Sanford and Son was NBC's hit sitcom that ran for 6 seasons and 136 episodes from 1972 to 1977, starring Redd Foxx as Fred G. Sanford. The G stands for Get Out of My Way, and Demond Wilson played his long-suffering son, Lamont. It was funny, loud, and fearless, breaking new ground and turning Fox into a household name. Today, we're counting down 15 weird facts you didn't know about Sanford and Son. Stick around for number 15. So hit like, subscribe, hype this video, and let's dig into the junkyard of TV history. Number 1. The theme song you can't forget. No lyrics, no problem. The Sanford and Son theme song was amazing. The theme, officially titled The Street Beater, was composed by Quincy Jones and played using a mix of funk, electric blues, and layered harmonica by session legend Tommy Morgan. Jones reportedly wrote and recorded it in under 30 minutes, using his friendship with Redd Foxx to perfectly capture the vibe. It didn't chart when it was released, but it didn't have to. That wah-wah guitar and confident bass didn't just start the show, they made a statement. And even decades later, it still hits just as hard. Number 2. The shoes that made Fred Sanford. Redd Foxx convinced America he was a 70-year-old junk dealer, but he was actually 49. When Sanford and Son premiered in 1972, Foxx aged himself up 20 years using gray hair dye, a gray beard, and makeup to create wrinkles. Oh, and the occasional hairpiece. Visually, he looked right for the role, but the real trick was wearing heavy, clunky shoes.
High-heeled Italian boots.
So what, everybody's wearing them?
At 65?
No, at $4.95 at Kenny's on the highway.
Foxx wore weighted shoes to create Fred's signature shuffle, that slow, grumpy walk that made every step look like it was painful for his knees. Foxx said the moment he put those shoes on, he became Fred Sanford. That shuffle powered his most famous bit of grabbing his chest and yelling, "I'm coming, Elizabeth," while barely making it across the room.
You hear that, Elizabeth? I'm coming to join you, honey. With a fat friend.
The heavier the shoes, the funnier the joke. Off-screen, Foxx was full of energy, well-dressed and flashy, but on-screen he was a cranky old man who could barely climb stairs. The difference between the two was the performance, and honestly, years of smoky nightclubs, late nights, and hard living didn't hurt. That gravelly voice and the lines on his face made him look old even when he wasn't trying. Redd Foxx aged himself with makeup and shoes, but he sold it with attitude and one very believable shuffle. Number 3. Sanford and Son saved NBC. Sanford and Son didn't just make people laugh, it saved an entire network. When the show premiered in January of 1972, NBC was in serious trouble. CBS was dominating with All in the Family, The Mary Tyler Moore Show, and MASH. ABC had The Brady Bunch and The Partridge Family. And NBC? They were the third-place network nobody wanted to watch, especially on Friday nights where shows went to die. Then came Redd Foxx. Sanford and Son took off immediately. It was loud, smart, and unlike anything else on television. A father and son junkyard comedy that pulled NBC out of its ratings grave. Within weeks, it reached the top 10 and stayed there for most of its run.
No, that made me look kind of queer. You don't want your dad to look queer, do you? No, I like it more like this.
By 1974, NBC's entire Friday lineup was on fire. Sanford and Son led the night, Chico and the Man followed, and dramas like The Rockford Files and Policewoman rode the wave into the Nielsen Top 15. Friday night wasn't a death slot anymore on NBC. It had become destination television. Even though the Brady Bunch also aired on Fridays, it couldn't compete.
Sanford and Son's ratings were so strong, they helped push America's squeakiest clean family off the air in 1974. Redd Foxx took down the Bradys with fake heart attacks and a junkyard full of insults.
You really got me upset. This is a bad one. Oh.
Is it a tight feeling across the chest?
Yes.
This was a risk for NBC at the time. It was seen as the most conservative of the three major networks. A black-led sitcom built around working-class life and wants was revolutionary, but it worked. The show earned laughs and loyalty. For years, Sanford and Son was NBC's backbone, the show that kept the lights on and gave the network enough stability to rebuild. NBC took a chance on Redd Foxx. Redd Foxx saved NBC. Number 4. Britain had it first. America made it better. Picture this. It's Britain in the 60s. Fog, teacups, and a sitcom called Steptoe and Son. 4 seasons in black and white ran from 1962 to 1965. Then, after a 5-year break, because even great shows need a rest, another 4 seasons aired in color from 1970 to 1974. The setup was simple. 2 men, 1 junk business, and a lifetime of emotional blackmail.
Take courage, son. Take courage.
Yeah. He's been bleeding drinking it ever since.
Steptoe and Son starred Wilfrid Brambell as Albert and Harry H. Corbett as his son Harold. They were a pair of London rag and bone men with a horse, a cart, and more family problems than a therapy convention. Harold dreamed of getting away. Albert guilt-tripped him into staying, and together they collected junk while collecting resentment. Harold constantly called his father a dirty old man, and honestly, he wasn't wrong. It was bleak, brilliant, and way ahead of its time. The Brits loved it so much they made 2 movies and still rank it among their greatest comedies.
Yes, that great comedy partnership is back in the saddle. In a saga of hard times in Shepherd's Bush.
Enter Norman Lear and Bud Yorkin in 1972. They looked at this gloomy British gem and said, you know what, this needs more Redd Foxx. Of course, they moved the story from London to Watts, Los Angeles. Fred Sanford replaced Albert Steptoe. Lamont Sanford took Harold's place. The junkyard was the same, but everything else, the rhythm, the style, the soul, that was all American. Redd Foxx turned Fred into something brand new, part con-artist, part philosopher, and a full-time master of insults. His timing, voice, and walk all came from years of stand-up comedy on the Chitlins.
Scotch. See that mark that I put on there this morning? And look how far down it is. And you know why? Mary the Guzzler.
Early Sanford and Son scripts were basically photocopies of Steptoe and Son episodes with American names written in. But as the show found its footing, it stopped being just an adaptation and became its own thing. Louder, funnier, and full of heart. The Brits had the idea, but Redd Foxx made it.
Number 5. 2 tries, 2 flops. When Sanford and Son ended in 1977, NBC made the same mistake every network makes after a huge hit. They tried to keep the magic going without the people who made it magical. The first attempt was Sanford Arms, which premiered that same year. The story was that Fred and Lamont moved to Arizona for Fred's health and sold the junkyard to Phil Wheeler, a widower, old army buddy, and aspiring hotel owner. Phil's big plan was to turn the main house and the neighboring house into a successful hotel. Aunt Esther stayed to help him. Bubba became the bellman, and Grady got married.
Oh, Fred!
Fred doesn't live here anymore. He's gone.
He's gone? Oh, goodness. Fred finally had the big one.
Sounds exciting, right? Well, America disagreed. Without Fred and Lamont, it had all the setup, but no soul. NBC canceled it after just 4 episodes. Well, I'm sure you're going to be happy here. Now, if you just sign my register.
Well, I'm sure you're going to be happy here. Now, if you just sign my register.
Yeah. How much is the room?
$10.
Did you say $2?
$8.
Oh, $4. Fine, I'll take it.
$5, and you got it.
3 years later, they tried again with Sanford. This time, Redd Foxx returned as Fred, while Lamont was written off as working on the Alaska oil pipeline. You, Mr. Fred Sanford, Lamont told me you a real lead puller. Wait a minute, now you ain't gonna get no butter here.
You Mr. Fred Sanford? Lamont told me you're a real leg puller.
Wait a minute, now you ain't gonna get no butter here. Listen, come on in. You mentioned my son, Lamont. Where you know Lamont from?
Oh, I've been working with him up on Alaska Pipeline.
Fred got a new business partner named Cal Petty, played by Dennis Burkley, a white Southerner meant to replace Lamont. Even with Aunt Esther and a rollback, the chemistry just wasn't there. Sanford lasted 26 episodes before NBC finally gave up in 1981. 2 sequels, 2 flops, and when the second one premiered, NBC acted like the first one never happened. Can't say we blame them though.
Number 6. Bookman was supposed to play Lamont. Remember cracking up every time someone said Buffalo Butt on Good Times?
Bye-bye, Mr. Buffalo Butt.
Turns out Johnny Brown, the actor who played the lazy, corner-cutting superintendent Nathan Bookman, almost played a very different TV role, Lamont Sanford. Norman Lear wanted Brown for the part, but there was one problem. Brown was tied up with Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In, you know, the sketch comedy show that used to crack your parents up. And back then, network contracts were stricter than Aunt Esther at Bible study, so Brown had to pass. That opened the door for Demond Wilson, and honestly, it was perfect casting.
Say, Pop, who was that big guy I just saw leaving here?
Oh, that was that was Norman. Yeah, he's the new fella I hired.
Wilson wasn't a comedian like Redd Foxx. He was the grounded counterbalance, the side to every outburst, the guy trying to hold the junkyard together while his dad chased the next scheme. Sure, Lamont had limits. Every now and then he'd snap right back at Fred. Even the calm one has a breaking point when the hustle goes too far. Some people in the industry thought 2 big comedy egos like Fox and Brown might clash. Instead, we got a father-son duo with perfect chemistry. Fred brought the fire, Lamont matched it when it mattered. Johnny Brown missed out on Sanford and Son, but he still made his mark in sitcom history as Bookman, the scheming, slow-moving super who spent most of his time dodging repairs and catching insults. He might not have been Lamont, but he still left his mark on television.
Number 7. CBS passed and regretted it. CBS blew it. Norman Lear had just given them All in the Family, the biggest hit on TV at the time. So when Lear and Bud Yorkin came knocking with another British sitcom adaptation, this one starring Redd Foxx and Demond Wilson, you'd think CBS would say yes immediately. Nope. Vice President of Programming Fred Silverman turned it down. He thought it was too similar to All in the Family. That might go down as one of the worst decisions in television history. Lear and Yorkin took the project to NBC, who said yes, and Sanford and Son exploded. It debuted in the top 10 and stayed there, second only to All in the Family. NBC suddenly had its own Norman Lear hit, while CBS watched their competition make ratings history with the show they passed on. Years later, even Fred Silverman admitted it was one of the stupidest things he ever did at CBS, and he wasn't wrong.
Number 8. Aunt Esther almost got fired. Before Aunt Esther was handing out holy beatdowns and calling Fred Sanford a fish-eyed fool, LaWanda Page almost lost the role entirely. Page and Redd Foxx went way back, all the way to their childhood in St. Louis to be exact. They both started out on the Chitlin circuit, performing raunchy, no-filter stand-up in smoky nightclubs.
I just came over to help you stay awake, you old fish-eyed fool.
Page was hilarious, but her raunchy nightclub material made the producers nervous. They weren't sure it could work on a network sitcom that had to air in prime time. During early rehearsals, Page struggled to adjust to the strict timing and technical side of TV. She wasn't used to hitting marks or waiting for camera cues. She was used to owning the stage. It got so tense that producers started talking about replacing her. That's when Redd Foxx stepped in. He flat out refused to let it happen. Fox told the producers, "If LaWanda goes, I go." And that wasn't an idle threat. By then, Fox was the show.
I say hello too, Fred.
You did?
Yes, I did.
Look here, Woody, you keep an eye on her, and I'll call the zoo and tell them you captured a baboon that looks like a parrot.
He gave her a pep talk, helped her rehearse her lines, and showed her how to work within the format. Within weeks, she found a rhythm, and the Aunt Esther we all remember came to life. The chemistry between Fred and Esther became sitcom gold. 2 characters who couldn't stand each other on screen, but were close friends off screen. Their fiery exchanges weren't just scripted, they were built on decades of real friendship and respect. Thanks to Redd Foxx's loyalty, we got more than a side character. We got one of the most iconic sparring duos in sitcom history. Now, if this trip down TV memory lane is hitting you harder than one of Fred's fake heart attacks, show some love. Hit like, tap subscribe, and ring that bell. We've got more nostalgia coming your way every week. All right, now let's get back into it with number 9. Demond Wilson didn't think the show would last. When Sanford and Son debuted in 1972, Demond Wilson didn't expect it to last at all. He saw it as a quick paycheck and some exposure, not the role that would define his career.
A shot of what?
Just an ounce of alcohol, please.
What's the matter, Esther? I mean, I've never seen you drink before.
Wilson had already worked with producers Bud Yorkin and Norman Lear, guest starring on All in the Family as a burglar who breaks into Archie Bunker's home. So, when Yorkin offered him Lamont Sanford, Wilson figured it was worth a shot, but he wasn't betting his future on it. In his memoir, Wilson said he saw the series as a short-term gig, a way to make some fast cash and maybe use the fame to move on to bigger projects like movies. Back then, sitcoms weren't considered the big prize for serious actors, and honestly, his doubt made sense. No one was sure how primetime audiences would react to a black father and son running a junkyard in Watts. But then, the chemistry clicked.
I'm expecting some company. In a few minutes, as a matter of fact, and, well, I don't want nobody around, you know what I mean?
You mean female company?
You got it.
Fox's larger-than-life energy and Wilson's grounded, straight-man delivery turned into one of television's best double acts. The show took off and never looked back. Sanford and Son ran for 6 seasons and made both stars household names. Wilson signed on for quick cash and ended up with comedy immortality. Number 10. Redd Foxx turned the set into his comedy club. If Sanford and Son felt more like a neighborhood hangout than a TV show, that's because Redd Foxx filled it with people he actually knew. Before he was a TV star, Foxx was already a legend on the Chitlin circuit, the network of clubs where black entertainers built their careers long before Hollywood ever came calling. Foxx spent decades there, trading jokes and war stories with other comics who could make a room explode with nothing but timing and nerve. When Sanford and Son made him a household name, Foxx used his clout to bring those friends along. The producers called it casting, but Foxx called it loyalty. Slappy White, his longtime comedy partner from Vegas, showed up as Melvin, one of Fred's TV-watching buddies.
Hey, listen, Fred, why don't you ask your son to buy you a new TV? He said we couldn't afford it.
Leroy and Skillet, a wild comedy duo who recorded raunchy party albums on the same label as Foxx, brought their nightclub chaos straight to prime time. Don Bexley became Bubba, Fred's good-natured, easily persuaded best friend. Scatman Crothers popped in as Bowlegs, another old pal from the circuit.
All of me, why not take all?
And LaWanda Page, Fox's oldest friend, became the show's breakout star as Aunt Esther. By surrounding himself with familiar faces, Foxx gave Sanford and Son something no other sitcom had: real chemistry. The jokes worked because the friendships were real. The banter sounded natural because it came from years of shared history. Redd Foxx didn't just cast a sitcom, he brought his whole world with him. Number 11. Fred Sanford's heart attacks came from Redd Foxx's mother. Every time Fred Sanford clutched his chest and cried, he wasn't just stealing the scene, he was channeling his mother. The most famous running gag on Sanford and Son, Fred's over-the-top fake heart attacks, was inspired by Redd Foxx's own mom, Mary Sanford Carson. His mother had a flair for the dramatic, especially when she wanted attention or sympathy.
I'm feeling bad when coming home. Hey, what's the matter?
She'd sigh, groan, and clutch her chest like her heart was giving out, usually when she wasn't getting her way. As Foxx told it, she could create a full-blown medical emergency faster than most people could blink. And as a kid, he thought it was both scary and hilarious. Years later, he turned that childhood memory into Fred Sanford's signature move. Part performance, part manipulation, all Foxx. On the show, it became Fred's go-to tactic whenever he wanted to guilt-trip Lamont into doing something, avoiding work, ending an argument, or showing just how sick he was. The bit worked because it was based in truth. Fox wasn't making up a character, he was channeling one. Mary Sanford Carson's dramatic flair lived on, one fake heart attack at a time.
Number 12. The secret decision that ended Sanford and Son. By 1977, Sanford and Son had dropped from number 7 to number 27 in the ratings. NBC moved it around the schedule 3 times, and the audience started drifting. But the show didn't end because of low numbers. It ended because the stars walked away. Redd Foxx had been fighting NBC for years. In 1974, he walked off the show entirely, just not showing up, forcing producers to write Fred Sanford out for several episodes.
Grady Wilson, I'm so mad at you, I could jump down your throat and stomp your liver.
Well, now, I'm not in the habit of fighting women, but in your case, I'll make an exception.
His demands to come back were $25,000 per episode to match Carol O'Connor's All in the Family salary, 25% of the show's profits, a golf cart to get around the set, and a rehearsal space with a window that made headlines. For Fox, it wasn't about the view, it was about respect. He saw white stars on the network get perks he didn't, and he was being treated like he was lucky to be there. NBC caved. Fox came back. But even with the raise and profit share, the frustrations didn't stop. He wanted creative control, he wanted Emmy recognition, and he wanted to be treated like the star carrying one of their biggest shows. Then ABC showed up with a better offer, the Redd Foxx Comedy Hour, complete with creative control and a massive paycheck.
This is the big one. No disrespect intended, Your Majesty, but for 5 years I've been saying, "Here I come, Elizabeth." And here I am.
The surprising thing is that Fox didn't tell Demond Wilson. Wilson found out from a newscaster in the NBC hallway. One minute he was Lamont Sanford, and the next his partner was gone. Ouch! Wilson felt blindsided. When NBC tried to keep the show going without Fox, Wilson refused. He had his own salary fight with the network, and after seeing Fox leave without a word, he wasn't sticking around either. After 6 seasons, Sanford and Son was over. Not because the audience left, but because the partnership did. One secret decision, and one of TV's greatest comedy teams was done.
Number 13. Richard Pryor and Paul Mooney wrote for the show. Yes, it's true. Richard Pryor and Paul Mooney wrote for Sanford and Son. And if you know anything about these two, you already know it got wild. During the show's 2nd season in 1972, Redd Foxx brought his old friends from the stand-up circuit into the writer's room. Pryor and Mooney co-wrote The Dowry, the episode where Fred tried to marry Lamont off to a step-cousin for a $10,000 dowry.
It's not gonna be easy to find a husband for her. She's so shy and all. And so misunderstood. Right. Say, Grady, what about Lamont? Lamont? It never crossed my mind. He'd be perfect.
They also wrote Sanford and Son and Sister Makes 3, where Fred's old flame, played by Jana Dubois, showed up with her daughter and told Fred he was the father, right as Lamont was starting to fall for her.
If you got one life, you better be on a motorcycle. I'm not kidding. You go down there in traffic court and you sit around there, you see so many brothers and sisters, you think you're at the NAACP rally.
Here's the thing. Pryor and Mooney were famous for unfiltered, politically charged comedy that electrified nightclub audiences, but made network executives, let's say, sweat. They put out the kind of records you listen to really low in your uncle's basement so the adults wouldn't know what you were doing. Their humor came from real life, and they weren't about to soften it for primetime. And that's exactly why Fox wanted them. Most of the early Sanford and Son writers were white, and Fox had been loud about scripts that didn't sound like how people actually talked in Watts. NBC wanted family-friendly. Pryor and Mooney wanted real. Paul Mooney later said their best material got watered down or cut entirely, but the episodes that made it to air, especially The Dowry, still have their edge. The collaboration didn't last long, but for a brief stretch, Sanford and Son had 2 comedy legends in the writer's room, and you could tell the difference.
Number 14. Redd Foxx lived like a king until the IRS came calling. At the height of Sanford and Son, Redd Foxx wasn't just a TV star, he lived like royalty. Rolls Royces, diamond-studded watches, and a 20-person entourage that followed him everywhere. If there was a way to spend money, Foxx found it. But for every dollar he made, 2 seemed to disappear. Foxx was generous to a fault, picking up tabs, loaning out cash, and paying salaries for friends who just hung around. He once joked that he employed half of Las Vegas and couldn't get any of them to pay him back. The IRS, however, wasn't laughing. Foxx didn't believe in paying taxes, and after years of skipping out, the penalties piled up. In November of 1989, federal agents raided his Las Vegas home, seizing everything: the house, the cars, the jewelry, even his cash on hand. They left him with 1 bed and a bad headline.
On the next Inside Report, he made millions playing a TV junk salesman. So why is Redd Foxx broke? The government has taken everything he owns. Now he's charging racial discrimination. Is it a case of black and white for Redd?
Foxx was humiliated and furious. The man who'd made America laugh now stood as a cautionary tale, a legend who gave too much, spent too fast, and trusted too many. He tried to rebuild, landing a new sitcom that showed promise, but in 1991 he suffered a heart attack on set and died at 68, still broke, still fighting to get back what he'd lost. His longtime friend Eddie Murphy quietly paid for the funeral, one last act of respect for the man who'd opened the door for so many. Number 15. Redd Foxx's final heart attack wasn't a joke. By 1991, Redd Foxx had tried a few TV comebacks since Sanford and Son, but none really worked. Then came The Royal Family, a CBS sitcom that finally seemed like it might take off. Foxx played Al Royal, a retired mailman enjoying a quiet life with his wife, played by Della Reese, until their grown daughter and her kids moved back in. It was warm, funny, and had the same wit and attitude that had already made Foxx a star. For the first time in years, it felt like he had found a show worthy of his talent.
You mean to tell me you're gonna sit there and defy the man that made love to you last night?
Rolling over on me accidentally in your sleep ain't my idea of making love.
However, during rehearsals for the 7th episode, Foxx collapsed on set. At first, the crew thought he was joking, doing his classic heart attack routine from Sanford and Son. But this time, it wasn't an act. Redd Foxx had suffered a massive heart attack. He was rushed to Queen of Angels Hollywood Presbyterian Medical Center, where he passed away shortly after. He was 68 years old. The set went silent. The royal family had only just premiered, and its heart was gone.
A week ago, when Al Royal left us, we gathered to share our grief. Today, we've come together to share joyful memories of Al.
CBS put the show on hold and later brought in Jackie Harry to help carry it forward, but the spark was grown. The series ended quietly the next year. Redd Foxx spent decades making people laugh, from smoky nightclub stages to primetime television. He turned the fake heart attack into comedy gold on Sanford and Son, and on October 11, 1991, he had a real one and died doing what he loved most, performing. And there you have it, 15 wild, funny, and sometimes heartbreaking facts about Sanford and Son. Which one surprised you the most? Which one did we miss? Let us know in the comments below. Oh, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hype it up. We drop new retro TV deep dives every single week. Until next time.